What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Olá a todos, bem-vindos ao meu canal. If you're new here, my name is Vilma, and today I'm going to be doing a rather more personal video. It's going to be about my health. Obviously, if you can see by the title, you're more than likely here because you're either going through the same thing or you're kind of like curious as to what is going on and what are fibroids. So if you're new here, I am 41 years old and I've known I have fibroids since my early 20s. Doing a regular checkup with a gynecologist, I was told I had fibroids, but they were small, so there was nothing that I should worry about. And really and truly, I didn't even look into it. All I asked at that time, as far as I can remember, what are fibroids? Are they tumors? Is it something that I should worry about? And they told me no. So if you're not familiar to fibroids are benign tumors that grow in or around the womb. So it's something that a lot of women actually have, but fibroids, if they're small and they're not active, doctors don't really do anything about them because they're not affecting that individual. So as mentioned, I've known that I have fibroids, that I've had fibroids since I was in my early 20s. So I never really investigated, never really worried about them. I knew that fibroids at that time from visiting my gynecologist that they cause heavy bleeding in your menstrual time. So I've always had heavy periods, but they were not heavy to the point that I couldn't live, that I couldn't cope, that I felt very sick. They were just heavy for like 2 days, 2 to 3 days, and then in between from the start to finish it was kind of like more mellow. So my periods have always been very consistent. I've never missed periods besides when I was pregnant. Always had my period every, I don't know, 28 days to 29 days and even 30 days. And they've always lasted me for a maximum of a week. Now in 2009, when my husband and I decided to have a child or try for a child, I was told from the moment I got pregnant, because I got pregnant very quickly, it kind of like happened within a couple of months, I was told that more than likely I was going to have a C-section because of the position of one or more fibroids. Obviously, I was concerned a little bit, so I was considered a high-risk pregnancy, and I wouldn't say they wanted to monitor me a little bit closely, but that's what I was told when I went for my first scan or ultrasound. Unfortunately, that pregnancy didn't go so well, so at nearly 19 weeks, I had a miscarriage, but that is a completely different story. If you guys are interested in knowing kind of like a little bit more about that, please comment below. It is very, very sad, but it's easier for me to talk about it now because it's been 9 years. It's going to be nearly, yeah, it's been 9 years since it happened. And if you guys want to know a little bit more about that, please comment below and I'll make a separate video. So after the miscarriage and I had follow-up appointments, I went to see, of course, my consultant. I had an MRI so they could see where my fibroids were. I had regular scans, and she said, you know, you have 5. One is quite large. I can't remember the centimeters, but she said it. We cannot say 100% that you had the miscarriage because of the fibroids. They do cause infertility, but obviously they didn't cause infertility to me because I got pregnant within a couple of months. She said there's treatments for the fibroids. However, if I want to try for children, she said that she wouldn't recommend any of the treatments because they would affect. One of them was to kind of like put me on like a pretend menopause, and I didn't want that. The other one was to actually get the fibroids removed, but she said if I overbleed or they find more, apologies for the background noise, or if they find more fibroids, they may have to give me a hysterectomy. So though that was her kind of like information that I needed to know, and if I wanted to try for more children, to try again whenever I was ready and not get the fibroids removed. So for several months, I was kind of like obviously grieving from losing my child. So I didn't want to think about babies or anything like that. Then I started feeling a little bit better. You know, as days go by, you get stronger. I had very, very severe heavy bleeding after that. And then my periods became a little bit heavier, but I could still manage my periods. A year later, I got married, and then we decided again to try for another baby. But before I went ahead and started doing all of that, I wanted to go for a second opinion because I wanted to make sure that I was healthy enough and that the fibroids were not going to affect me. So I went to a consultant, and I still remember very vividly her words because she was very blunt, straight to the point, not in a rude manner whatsoever, but she just wanted me to understand where she was coming from. She said to me, my fibroids, I still had 5, as she said, she counted them. She made a drawing after giving me a scan or an ultrasound of where the fibroids were located, how big they were. She said one of them is quite big. I can't remember the size again. She said if I wanted to try for more children, not to touch the fibroids. She said, because again, if I go in there and I remove them, I could find more, and I may not be able to save your womb, and I may need to save your life as I'm removing it. So we went home, we decided to try for a baby, and 3 or 4 months later, I was pregnant. I have my little daughter now, she's 6. So that pregnancy actually went okay. The fibroids didn't really upset me all that much. I think by the end of my pregnancy, by the 7th or 8th month, that's when they started kind of like giving me pain, and I felt like I was having contractions. But going to the hospital, they sorted me out, gave me some medication, and I was fine. I was able to go all the way till full term. Now, fasting forward 6 years, I have my child. Everything is okay. I'm still having my heavy periods. I've noticed at the end of 2017, my periods have become a lot heavier. The pain has become unbearable, and I've mentioned in a few of my videos that I was anemic, that I'm not feeling very well, and it's all to do with these periods that I'm having, which are so heavy, and they, you know, they have clots and stuff like that. And I'm sorry if I'm being a little bit too graphic, so if you don't like this type of conversation, this is the time to click out of this video, because I'm going to be a little bit graphic on here. Hopefully this video will be able to help someone out there that is going through the same thing as me, or if you know somebody who is. So my periods have become very heavy to the point that the cramps are so unbearable that I feel like my uterus is contracting, and it's similar, the pain that I've been feeling is similar to not giving birth, but like contractions when, you know, your contractions start. It's really unbearable. So in the past 3 months, I have been going to sometimes A&E, sometimes to out-of-hours doctors, because I am so uncomfortable to the point that it's making me feel depressed, that I've called in NHS Direct crying and, you know, telling them this bleeding is not stopping. I feel like I'm going to pass out, and they even called an ambulance. So I went for another ultrasound about a little bit over a month ago, and the lady who did the ultrasound, she said that she was shocked that my family doctor in 6 years has never advised me to go and see a gynecologist, as in go and check your fibroids. Here in the UK, if you don't ask, you don't get. If you don't feel unwell, they don't ask. Excuse me. And for 6 years, my fibroids have never been monitored. Yes, it's my responsibility to check on my health, but because I've always had heavy periods, I didn't think that it was not normal until the severe pain came. So I still have 5 fibroids. One of them has grown considerably. My kangaroo pouch, as I call it, my belly, is a little bit more swollen. I'm a size 16 UK. I'm not super big, but I'm not small, and I shouldn't have that much of a pouch down there, but I do. A lot of it is fat, so I'm going to say it. It is, you know, I'm a bigger girl. I had a C-section. I don't really exercise all that much, especially recently with the problems that I'm having. But my belly down there is a little bit more swollen, and it's all to do with the bloatiness of the issues that I'm having. I've been bleeding for nearly 2 months, and within those 2 months, I've had a 10-day gap. That was it. But I've been bleeding now for 4 weeks. It's going to be 4 weeks on Sunday. Now, my last visit to the doctor, I said to her, like, I can't cope with this. Something needs to be done. This is starting to really stress me out. I need to live. I have a child. I need to do activities. I need to do things. I have my own personal life. I cannot live with this. Something needs to be sorted out. So she said to me, or she asked me, do you want to have more children? And I said, no, I don't want to have more children. I don't want to go through my first experience. I think my daughter is a blessing, and I do not want to go through that thing again. So she said, okay, so that is easier. I'm going to send a referral. You're going to see a gynecologist, and I'm going to put you on the pill, which I have not been on the pill, excuse me, for over 15 years. I was not opposed to that because I know the pill, although it's hormonal, should be able to somewhat help ease the period pains and the amount of blood that I am bleeding. So I'm on my second strip now of my pill, and this past week was my break, and I've noticed that my period did become heavier in this week, but it has nearly stopped, and I started my second strip yesterday. So I know the pill is helping me feel a little bit more comfortable. I also have other medication, which I'm not going to mention because what they prescribe to me, they may not prescribe to you. So I don't want to make you go to the chemist and buy these. They've also given me medication to ease the amount of blood that I'm losing. Some people even say that it actually made their period stop. Mine hasn't stopped. And I came to a conclusion, and I am not a professional, that right now I'm bleeding, but it's not my periods. It's my fibroid, the bigger one, that's actually bleeding, and it hasn't stopped. I am currently only using pads, which is fine. But sometimes when it's very, very heavy, I have to use a tampon and I have to use a pad because I have to change constantly. And it's the only way that I actually feel safe not to have a accident, which I've had 2 in the past 2 months, one of them being with my 6-year-old. I've never told her I have periods, that women have periods, and it happened in public. It was really, really embarrassing. I cried my eyes out. I'm sure there's a lot of you who probably have gone through the same thing. I was wearing jeans. It was just like a mess. And my daughter, all she said to me, and she's 6 years old, she said to me, "Mommy, you have never had accidents like this. It's okay, Mommy, you're going to be okay." She was such a friend, such a blessing. I'm getting emotional. Just know that you're not alone. Things will get better. God. I'm sorry, guys. My daughter actually says, "Mommy, do you still have the period?" And I tell her it's not period, it's period. And she asked me this morning, do all women have it? Will I have it when I grow up? And I said, yes, you will have it. But when the time comes, Mommy will be here for you. She's such a sweetheart. So the side effects of all of this, as you guys can see, I'm a hot mess and I do get emotional here and there, is that obviously I'm drained. I'm tired of having a non-stop period. It's horrible. I don't know any woman who likes having her period unless she doesn't want to have sex with her partner. And she's like, you know, I'm on my period, hey. But no, most women, I'm pretty sure they don't like it. Imagine having it non-stop for nearly 2 months. It is ridiculous. So the side effects of this is on my body is that my hair is shedding a little bit because I don't think I'm anemic at the moment. I was anemic about 3 months ago because I used to feel dizzy, and you know, I felt quite dizzy. I had to come home a few days early from work and everything. But I've been on iron tablets for the past 3 months, so I feel a lot better in relations to that. I am also vitamin D deficient, so I have to take vitamin D. My hair is shedding, and I've noticed it started shedding about a year ago, but I also feel like it could be related to my problem or my age. As far as I'm aware, your body and your hair changes every 7 years. So my hair is shedding. My hair is not as full as it was a year ago because all I see is hair here and there. Oh, there you go, one. I feel like the texture of my hair is also changing a little bit. My hair, I don't know, maybe it's because I don't dye my hair for a lot of months. So my hair over here is a lot softer. I remember my hair being a little bit curlier, but I don't think it's because I straighten my hair, because I do straighten my hair here and there, but the majority of the time I wear my hair curly. So I feel like it's because of the stress that this is causing on my body. My hair is shedding. But I am feeling a lot better. My referral has arrived, but it's ages and ages away. And if you are here in the UK, you know how referrals take forever. So my appointment is only in August. I am thinking of going to a private clinic. I found actually a Portuguese clinic here in London. A friend of mine gave me their number. I called them, and I'm thinking of just going there to see a gynecologist. But my husband also told me, you know what, if your period stops and you feel okay, just wait till your referral, you know, your appointment comes so you can go and see the doctor. I'll definitely keep you guys updated on my situation. If you want to know of the outcome, I'll give you guys an update after I see my gynecologist, whether I'm going to have a surgery or not. I believe that's the road that I'm going to go for, because I have 5 fibroids. It's not just one here and one there. I know there's about 3 procedures. The most dramatic and drastic procedure would be having a hysterectomy, but obviously I cannot say that that's what I'm going to do until I sit down with the gynecologist and see what they're going to say. But that is kind of like my story living with fibroids. So I've known for nearly 20 years that I have them, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated. Before I finish this video, I also wanted to thank you guys for the lovely comments on my previous video of going gray. If you haven't seen that, I will link it up here or in the info bar below. If you're new here, my channel is not just about stuff like this. This is quite personal, but I do reviews, makeup tutorials, fashion videos, and things like that. So hopefully you will subscribe and browse through my channel. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys on my next one. And happy Eid or Eid Mubarak for everybody. Bye.